Welcome. In this video, I was thinking to share what is behind me. I didn't know what exactly to tell, but maybe I can tell the story of how this happened. It's a painting I did in 2013 in September actually, and I had this feeling to paint something on my wall for many years, like, I don't know, maybe when I was 10 or so, I don't know, around that age, and I didn't know what. I was feeling it should have something with the nature, so first thing I was thinking about tree, so I was having in my mind big tree, it's very cool to have like a realistic tree in a room. And yeah, what I also wanted to tell that, like, this is the room where I spent like most of my life, I guess. Yeah, it's my hometown and my room with my sister. But yeah, sometimes I was not here that often because I needed to live somewhere else and so on, but still each time when I return here there is some difference in energy. I'm not sure if it's the city, because I feel even when I'm leaving our capital city where I live, just by leaving the borders, I feel energy change, and I also feel like entering this city is different. And when I am here, like walking back home and so on, and even entering this room, it's always like I have to sleep immediately, like to rebalance myself, to adjust to this energy. And even with this, I think it also has something different. I don't know, some changes or influences, and influence on an energy in this room or so. So yeah, and also interesting experiences happened here. Yeah, and definitely this picture would be great to do all the videos here, but I don't do them often here, because each time when I come here, I am rebalancing, like meeting my mother and so on, so I guess you know what I mean. So yeah, what I wanted to say, okay, this story, I will start there. So then in 2012 I was in London, and then I had a trip to the fields because I wanted to visit some crop circles, because I was close there, so I wanted to use it. And I also had some interesting experience there. I don't know what it was, but I guess it was maybe just a plane. And yes, when I got into the first, well, I was just really in one crop circle that was maybe like 10 days old, but both nights I was sleeping there, and I was sleeping outside because bed and breakfast was very expensive there, so I was sleeping outside. It was very cold and very challenging, most challenging nights, I guess, of my life. And each of the night some crop circle appeared very close to me in that area where I was, but I didn't know it, unfortunately, because I didn't have internet or to check it or something. So that's a little bit pity, but still, I guess I wouldn't be able to get there because it was too much walking, but still it would be doable. But yeah, maybe I could get lost. Anyway, the first, sorry that I'm now talking so much. First crop circle was at Avebury, I think that's how it is called. And when I was there, of course, before I also was checking some videos about the crop circles, like when people are there, like what they are feeling and so on, because I was interested. And I guess energy was a little bit weaker because it was old crop circle, but in the videos I saw like people when they are there, like some white dots appear on their palms. I sometimes have not been in a crop circle that appears on my palms, but so I wanted to see like if that happens when I am there. But it happened, but not so strongly like other people in videos. But yeah, I was lying there. I am not sure if I felt anything more special, but I was feeling great because yeah, I was lying on the earth, and you feel great each time when you lay down on the earth. But then yeah, I was feeling that I wanted to paint on my wall something, or no, and at the time it was not that I would paint it on the wall, but it was a picture that I was feeling to have a maybe tattoo on my back, like big tattoo, and it was circle, and I think I got this in that crop circle that it should be circle, meaning of like oneness, and birds flying like from a small, it's not visible there, but up there is like a small a house for for birds. So it's like those birds are flying out of very small space. They were like trapped there, almost like a cage, but it's just that house. And then they are circling, and that means like fluidity, that freedom, air, and so on. So it's about like oneness, and but also some boundary, but still space, and that feeling of freedom of yourself, I guess. And then I was not sure like what to put in the middle, and I was thinking about maybe some crop circle that I would like or something, but nothing was appearing. Then in 2013, in the beginning, I discovered that something like channeling exists, and yeah, I didn't know until 2013, and I found channeler Brett Johnson and Adronis, and I had some maybe 2 sessions with him, I am not sure, and I was already open to something that like I am starseed, but I was not I didn't know that label, but I guess it's something like that, maybe arcturian starseed or how is it called, but I opened to arcturian energies, and I was also reading one-on-one ET one-on-one, but I think it was after he said or he channeled to me the Adronis that I have Arcturian connection, and so after that in this information they started to open, and he also gave me this picture like, or the symbol like phone number to connect with that energy, like a triangle, arc, and dot. Dot means like a star of Arcturus, so this represents this. And then when I shared this, I of course made the picture of it, so I could connect, and when I showed it to other friend, he immediately saw like it's a person, so like a triangle arm, the legs, and the body is like that arc, and dot is head, so I created this picture from it. And then yeah, I had some other experiences, but this is like when I got this picture, it was still a few months until I felt like drawing it on my wall. And actually I started like I wanted to paint a tree. Yeah, again I started with a tree. And so there is a like sketch of the tree here. It's not that visible, but it goes on sailing also with the pencil. And then I was thinking like and feeling into it, like okay, I feel like putting something also here. And so I started with this, and I was in a flow, like I was painting like 3 hours in a row, like maybe for 3 days or so. and it didn't feel like painting for 3 hours, but yeah, I guess I get a little bit tired, but not so much. And then, of course, I wanted to continue to paint also the tree, and I started with this. I don't know how is this plant called. I know that is usually on like walls or so. That's like a wall of leaves. I can't remember right now how it's called. But when I was painting that, each time I started to fall asleep. It was like I was painting. I was like, okay, it seems like I am not supposed to do that. So, and when I stopped, immediately I was okay, and then I started to paint and I immediately started to fall asleep. Okay, so I was like, okay, so I'm not supposed to. So I didn't continue with it. But yeah, recently I actually thought that maybe I could continue, but I don't live here so often, so I didn't still start it. So anyway, what is also interesting about this is that the year, especially, it was 2013 when I was and energy opened for me in some experiences that I had with solar eclipses and this kind of stuff and other stuff that I realized that I was feeling energies all my life. But it got amplified, so I started to understand many things. And then I was I activated that connection with the higher self also, that I was able to heighten my intuition. Sorry, intuition. So I would say just let's call it just intuition, because intuition is a gate, or ability to get messages from higher self or other entities and so on, your guides. So, and then when I didn't know from who that information was and so on, who was guiding me, or it was higher self. Like what Bashar says, it doesn't that much matter who is it, if the information is useful and you use it and it works for you. The last part is most important, when you use it. So, and then a lot of stuff about grounding, balancing, also food and consciousness, doing things with the awareness, even eating, if you don't eat consciously, it's like you are almost not eating at all. For example, this was something that I was experiencing even at a few centimeters just on this side. When I was eating, I was receiving downloads or this talk that and sometimes I guess many people have this experience, you are eating in front of TV or something, you are eating, and then suddenly you have nothing, and you are who ate it all? It was me. I don't feel full, or something like that. So it's because you don't give that attention enough to the food, and you are putting it into for example, TV. I had such a feelings before, many years ago, when I was sometimes watching TV, and when I was younger. So I guess many can relate to that. So that's why also giving some attention to what they're doing and really eating, or focusing when you are eating and on the food, that it will fill you more. You will also probably eat slower and so on, but it will nourish you, not just the food, but what I found out also through this a guidance I was having, or this intuition, that what is really feeding you, and you are running on your own energy. So when you really give attention to something, you are also grounding your own energy into the body, and your senses are really feeding you. So it's like we are sensual beings, but not sensual in that erotic way, I mean, but really that we are really getting stuff to our senses, and yeah, I guess I got to the point already. So um, I'm not right now getting anything like else like how to say it. So okay, my intuition stopped here. So yeah, and all these things that I was receiving, also the specific way or in a moment, like how to meditate or how to focus on the reality. It was sometimes very powerful, like how it shifted me and grounded. And funny was like I was always like Bashar is he never speaks about grounding and this kind of stuff. It's so important and blah blah and so on. And then in last December there was a Villa weekend, and when he was channeling her, especially the channeling 5 levels of mastery, that I managed to get there on live stream. But it was interesting. I was so mind blown. Like she was telling everything. Like finally, someone says it. Everything what I was, like feeling and receiving, and someone finally, get that information there. And then also, what are the signs of or symbols of 5 levels of mastery? It's like a triangle, arc, dot, circle, and wavy line. Wavy lines are here maybe just this. I'm not sure if that's visible, but the birds are making like there are this like I don't know how to say illustration of like a wind under their wings, or how when they're flying, so there are waves here. So that's a little bit of waves. So maybe it's just that one is missing, but still it's interesting. And also at the time already I had this knowing, like that the Villa was with I had understanding that I have a connection, active connection with her, and also talking and sharing. And after this weekend I also understood that she was actually the one that was giving me all these insights and so on, and was guiding me, because I really needed some help, because I was very unstable in the beginnings, and really when someone opens so wide, it's great to have some guidance. So I was first really also honored, like she is the one. And of course, like this is my own knowing, my own understanding. I don't mean like anyone can trust me or believe me that I am saying that she is my guide, but if she is not, I guess it's not that much relevant for you, to believe it or not, but it's for me. And I know, and when I was also believing in this, or not believing, I know it. For me, it's like knowing, because my connection with her is active, and we still continue. If you would be this is my also theory. This is also like I was receiving through intuition when I was having doubts and so on. Each time when we go into our mind, into panic mode or something, when something new opens, some new information, then it's you can get so panicky, and these weird thoughts come in, like why this shouldn't be true and so on. So yeah, of course I had also those things. So each time when I really ground and trust myself, my intuition and so on, I open the door also to experience more. So I believed like so in those moments I was receiving also. If I wouldn't be, or if I would be denying something or to myself, or avoiding to see some truth or so, if I would be lying to myself, then I wouldn't be able to open new doors and so on in this way, that I would be really still able to ground and to continue and open like really into interesting experiences. So what I mean also by this, that like for me those are confirmations when I still continue with Villa, and I didn't tell almost anything about my journey with her, and I feel I'm not sure if I can also, but it's really interesting, the downloads I was getting, and so still how it opens, like, okay, when I accept certain information, something opens, like my Anunnaki connection. And so this was a huge thing. And another, this was like the energy, like what is really confirming me everything, or many things, like when I opened to something and I receive that energy and feel it in my whole body. That's a very physical experience that gives me like that feeling that I'm not bullshitting myself or so. And so when I really follow like how I see it, like a truth, that I'm not getting it in a wrong way or so, then it opens, of course. But I just, not for others, that I want to be right for others, but for myself, of course. So I am still also being like open-minded. I don't close doors of certain thoughts or realizations, because everything we are learning still. So even if we understand something on a certain level, there is always something that can be still open more and understood deeper and better. So I'm not closing it also from this reason, but also because maybe some parts of it weren't understood perfectly. So I can, when I stay open, I can understand them better. It's not that I would get them wrong, but it would just get clarified, like, okay, this is what it meant, or more, And so, yeah, of course, keeping mind open if I would get something completely wrong also. And not, that also, I guess, requires to be brave to admit that you were wrong in some way, but it's not bad to be wrong, or wrong to be wrong. That's, we are learning, and I guess it's still best to allow yourself to feel that you are still, if you get something wrong, it doesn't mean that you are, I don't know, stupid or wrong completely, not perfect or something. It's normal, we don't understand everything, and we, I guess, never will understand everything, even when we die, because there is still something what we can learn and to understand. So of course there is always this that we don't understand something perfectly, maybe we can understand it in some different way, but sometimes it's even like important that we understand it this way, so it would open us for something else, and so on. So not looking at it also that I was wrong as it's something bad, and so on. Yeah, so I got into some flow of talking about stuff, and I started with this. So I was not thinking about like what I will talk about completely, so I'm not sure how to end this video actually. Oh, do you like it? Yeah, so I guess that's all. Yeah, I wanted to share, even before like a year ago, I was thinking about, like what to share on this YouTube channel. And I wanted to share also those grounding techniques I discovered in some way, or through experiences better, because of course this is not a technique that would work, I guess, for everybody. And also it's great to use it with the perfect timing for yourself, anything that would works for you, because one thing can work in a specific time, but later it wouldn't work, So of course it's something that I would like to share, that's in some way can help, although I was already maybe mentioning something similar. And also I feel like this was so long ago, and I'm completely different version also of myself from 2013, that I don't remember those experiences, and I was like, oh my god, no, I used fuck word, but like, damn it, I forgot like those experiences, and they were really very great. I maybe remember just two, but I know that I was having more of these like realizations how to ground myself. so I'm not sure if I will remember them. And many other experiences that I wanted to share, I'm completely forgetting them pretty fast. So yeah. So I guess that's all. I don't know. Of course, subscribe if you wanna want more of this random talk from me, or channeling, and I don't know. I had some things that I wanted to share, but with also write video when I will talk about some things, and some changes, offers, and so on. So yeah, subscribe, like, share, whatever you want. But of course, subscribe if you want notifications or so, because it can get lost on Facebook when I share it. So goodbye, and great grounding.